Okay, Dale Little here with Rescue America Ministries, and I'd like to do this as a patriotic special. I'm going to start off with one I have done it. Never done it in public, which I may do it here in a few days for the first time. It's just a little too high for me, but let's see what we can do. I just got through it a while ago, and I did the best I've done with it so far. That doesn't mean a whole lot necessarily, but oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we'd hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we'd watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? All right, that may not be the best you've ever heard, but it probably isn't the worst you've ever heard. No, it's not the worst I've ever heard. I've kind of got these patriotic specials in order as they came. I don't have one for every conflict that America's had, but I've got several here that, and they're not traditional, not what you usually hear as patriotic songs, but I hope you enjoy. And this one's called The Battle of New Orleans, which came certainly just after the Revolutionary War, where the Stars and Stripes was written, and here is the, I think that's correct, but anyway, here we have the Battle of New Orleans. And this battle, this is evidence, strong evidence of God's hand on America. I mean, I don't see how it could be denied. It's undeniable, really. But people deny it anyway. However, these were not some ragtag bunch of soldiers and groups that the English sent over here to put down this rebellion and, just a little bit. No, these were seasoned soldiers who had fought against Napoleon. So they were not just a ragtag army. And for this to happen the way it did, it had to be God. It wasn't just the squirrel guns. I promise you that. Listen up. In 1814, took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. We took a little bacon and we took a little beans, and we caught the bloody British in the town of New Orleans. We fired our guns and the British kept coming, but there wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to run it on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. We looked down the river and see the British come, and there must have been 100 of them beating on the drums. They stepped so high and they made the bugles ring, and we stood beside our cotton bales and didn't say a thing. We fired our guns and the British kept coming on. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began to run it on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Old Hickory said we could take them by surprise if we didn't fire a musket till we looked them in the eyes. We held our fire till we see the faces well, then we opened up the squirrel guns and really gave them well. We fired our guns and the British kept coming, but there wasn't as many as there was a while ago. Fired once more and they began to run it on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. of Mexico. Fired our cannon till the barrel melted down, so we grabbed an alligator and we fought another round. We filled his head with cannonballs and powdered his behind. And when we touched the powder off, the gator lost his mind. We fired our guns and the British kept a-coming, but there wasn't as many as there was a while ago. Fired once more and they began to run it on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, they ran through the briars and they ran through the brambles and they ran through the bushes where a rabbit couldn't go. They ran so fast that the hounds couldn't catch them on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. Ran so fast that the hounds couldn't catch him on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. As I said, that was no just a ragtag army. That was a seasoned army, and yet God gave us victory. Now I'll move into I have people don't have an issue with this song, just because it's talking about a rebel soldier. It's got spiritual context to it. And let me just put it this way, I'll be plain. If you have a problem with this song, if you have a problem because it talks about a Yankee soldier, if you hate all Yankee soldiers, and you hate all white people because of slavery, guess what? You are the new racist. You are the new racist. I don't have a problem singing and reading about the heroics of black people. But the problem is that this, a lot of this black history and things that I see, now I don't have anything against black history myself, except when it comes to the point of always denigrating white people in some way. This happened 250 years ago or something. We're celebrating 250 years. Excuse me. Over 150 years ago. And guess what flag flew flying with that army that set this country and set the slaves free? It's that one right there behind me. Except it's got a few more stars on it now. That's the flag that the army was flying that came and set the slaves free. And you want to disparage it? What's wrong with you? Anyway, enough of that. Hey, I'm doing this song. If you don't like it, that's all right. Turn it off. Be okay. In a dreary Yankee prison where a rebel soldier lay, by his side there stood a preacher, ere his soul should pass away. And deep and faintly whispered parson as he clutched him on by the hand, "Oh, parson, tell me quickly, will my soul pass through the Southland? Will my soul pass through the Southland, through old Virginia grand? Will I see the hills of Georgia and the green fields of Alabama? Will I see that little church house where I pledged my heart and hand? Oh, parson, tell me quickly, will my soul pass through the Southland? Was for loving dear old Dixie in this dreary cell I lie. Was for loving dear old Dixie in this northern state I die. Will you see my little daughter? Will you make her understand? Oh, parson, tell me quickly, will my soul pass through the Southland? Then the red move on to World War II now. And this was another unusual. A lot of younger people don't know these songs. It's Sink the Bismarck. It wasn't necessarily American forces, but these Allied forces that we worked with, these the British troops. Germany had built the biggest battleship in history, the fastest battleship there was. And it had to be destroyed. It had to be, or they would own the seas. And they already owned the air, pretty much. In May of 1941, the war had just begun. The Germans had the biggest ships that had the biggest guns. The Bismarck was the fastest ship that ever sailed the seas. Stop. On her decks were guns as big as steers and shells as big as trees. We'll find that German battleship. I'm getting ahead of myself. Out of the cold and foggy night came the British ship, the Hood. And every British seaman he knew and understood. They had to seek the Bismarck, the terror of the seas. Stop those guns as big as steers and shells as big as trees. We'll find that German battleship that's making such a fuss. We gotta sink the Bismarck cause the world depends on us. Hit the deck a-running, boys, and spin those guns around. When we find the Bismarck, we gotta cut her down. The Hood found the Bismarck, and on that fatal day, the Bismarck started firing 15 miles away. We gotta sink the Bismarck, was the battle sound. When the smoke had cleared away, the mighty Hood went down. For 6 long days and weary nights, they tried to find her trail. And Churchill told the people, put every ship a sail. 'Cause somewhere on that ocean, I know she's gotta be. We gotta sink the Bismarck to the bottom of the sea. The fog was gone the 7th day as they saw the morning sun. 10 hours away from homeland, the Bismarck made its run. The admiral of the British fleets had turned those bows around. We found that German battleship and we're gonna cut her down. The British guns were aimed and the shells were coming fast. The first shell hit the Bismarck, they knew she couldn't last. That mighty German battleship is just a memory. Sink the Bismarck was the battle cry that shook the 7 seas. We found that German battleship was making such a fuss. We had to sink the Bismarck cause the world depends on us. We hit the deck a-running and we spun those guns around. Yeah, we found that mighty Bismarck and we had to cut her down. Yeah, we found that mighty Bismarck and then we cut her down. Old Johnny Orton song, same one that did the Battle of New Orleans. That we just did. Now let's move on to the Vietnam era. It's a sad song. I try to do it every year, 2 or 3 times, especially along the 8th of November, which is the name of the song. said goodbye to his mama as he left South Dakota to fight for the red, white, and blue. He was 19 and green with a new M16, just doing what he had to do. He was dropped in the jungle where the choppers would rumble, with the smell of napalm in the air. And the sergeant said, look up ahead. Like a dark evil cloud, 1,200 came down on him and 29 more. They fought for their lives, but most of them died in the 173rd Airborne. On the 8th of November, the angels were crying as they carried his brothers away, with fire raining down and death all around. There were some few men left standing that day. Saw an eagle fly through a clear blue sky, 1965, the 8th of November. Now he's 58, his ponytail's gray, but the battle still plays in his head. He limps when he walks, but he's strong when he talks about the shrapnel they left in his leg. He puts on a gray suit over his airborne tattoo. He uses it one time a year. On the 8th of November, the angels were crying as he carried his brothers away, with fire raining down and death all around. There were few men left standing that day. Saw an eagle fly through a clear blue sky, 1965, the 8th of November. On the 8th of November, the angels were crying as they carried his brothers away, with the angels, with the fire raining down and death all around. There were few men left standing that day. I saw an eagle fly through a clear blue sky, 1965, the 8th of November. Said goodbye to his mama as he left South Dakota to fight for the red, white, and blue. He was 19 and green with a new M16, just doing what he had to do. Now here's one that's made popular by Merrill Haggard, and let's see what we can do with it. I hear people talking bad about the way we live here in this country, harping on the wars we fight and griping about the way things ought to be. Seems like it's constant sometimes. And I don't mind them switching sides and standing up for things they believe in. But when they're running down my countryman, they're walking on the fighting side of me. Yeah, they're walking on the fighting side of me, running down the way of life and fighting men have fought and died to keep. If you don't love it, leave it. Let this song I am singing be a warning. If you're running down my countryman, you're walking on the fighting side of me. Read about some squirrely guy who claims he just don't believe in fighting. And I wonder just how long the rest of us can count on being free. They love our milk and honey, but they preach about some other way of living. When they're running down my country horse, they're walking on the fighting side of me. Yeah, they're walking on the fighting side of me, running down the way of life our fighting men have fought and died to keep. If you don't love it, leave it. Let this song I am singing be a warning. If you're running down my countryman, you're walking on the fighting side of me. If you're running down my countryman, you're walking on the fighting side of me. I want to make it very clear that I don't worship this country. I don't worship this flag. But I thank God for them both. If you're not thankful, maybe y'all do just like the song says. Move to one of these other countries and see how wonderful you like it. I've never been to one yet that compares. And most of the world that hates America, they're the ones who want to railroad over everybody else, and they don't like it because America steps in many times. The ones that love America are the ones that know that if it wasn't for America, that they would be overtaken by some evil ruler, some evil force, some evil government next door, or maybe a few doors down, who knows. So, thank God for America. I'm going to close with this one. This is one picture here. Yeah. And the different ways of doing this song, I've heard it done very soft and tenderly. It's called the Battle Hymn of the Republic, and because it's a battle hymn, I think it ought to be sung as a battle hymn. A little more upbeat. I listened to the Marine Corps band do it. They don't play it softly. Bear with me. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He has tossed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling camps. They have builded him an altar in the evening dews and damps. I can read his righteous sentence by the dim and glaring lamps. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. He has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never sound retreat. He is sifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer him, be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with the glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make men holy, let us live to make men free, while God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. Hallelujah. His truth is marching on. The Little Rescue America Ministry.